Hello and welcome back! At the end of our last video, the Snyder Cut teaser trailer reaction, I mentioned the Ayer Cut of Suicide Squad. Something that used to just feel like an impossible dream, but now, if it could happen. It really feels like it could actually happen. David Ayer himself has been talking about it almost every day on Twitter, and the hype that's building around the possibilities of HBO Max and streaming, it's really exciting and really interesting. So, Josh and I are going to revisit the closest thing that we have to the Ayer Cut, which is the original Comic-Con trailer for Suicide Squad. This is basically the representation of what we would get with his version of the film. So, we're gonna take a look, tell you what we think, and then I'm going to go through some of David Ayer's tweets and talk about that because I have a lot of thoughts about this movie. So, let's do this. Josh! Trailer! Here we go.
Alright, so welcome back to another a trailer reaction video where we are going to revisit the original Suicide Squad Comic-Con trailer, which is relevant right now because of all the talk about the Ayer Cut, and what this trailer does is pretty much gives us what the Ayer Cut is going to be if we get it. So HBO Max, get it, do it. This is what we want. And now for the trailer.
Taking some work, but I finally have them. The worst of the worst.
Right. Immediately dark tones. No bright lights. Nothing like any of the later trailers start to show.
The hole to away the hole.
There's rumors, Amanda, that some of them have.
Tone is so different.
Yeah.
Lighting, the color grading.
Maybe Superman was some kind of beacon for them to creep back from the shadows. I want to assemble a task force of the most dangerous people on the planet.
Superman establishing connectivity from Batman vs Superman to Suicide Squad.
And if anything goes
Perfect.
wrong, we blame them. We have built-in deniability.
What makes you think you can control them?
Because getting people to act against their own self-interest is what I do for a living.
Love this Harley intro.
Amanda Waller, incredible delivery.
So good. This music choice is perfect too. Just the vibe of everything is so different.
Okay.
Are you the devil?
All you need to know is you work for me.
That siege. Don't see too much of that. Enchantress.
Music, the tone, everything is so different in this first trailer than what we get later on and what we get for the end piece.
Yep.
Let's go save the world.
Justice has a bad side, connecting the Justice League. Only the bad guys hired to do a good thing. Katana? Could we get more with the Ayer Cut?
Now they say about the crazy ones.
Huh?
And this is a huge, huge difference from the later trailers and the movie.
Oh, I'm not gonna kill you.
We get a serious Joker. We get a dark tone. And we get basically what Ayer really wanted to push out.
Really bad.
there you have it. That's what the Ayer Cut is most likely going to be. And that's the movie I was excited for. That's the movie a lot of people were excited for. And then when the movie did come out with many altercations, it wasn't that. And here's hoping that Ayer gets his second chance the way Zack Snyder has. Hashtag the Ayer Cut. HBO Max has done it once already, and all I could say is getting the Joker his chance, Jared Leto his chance to actually show off what Ayer had in mind for him, and just the assembly of characters not having distractions in the middle of the movie with flashy, glowy lights that pop up and random bios and things that just don't fit the movie. What we saw in that Comic-Con trailer is what the Ayer Cut should be, and hopefully what we will see. And yeah, I hope we get it. And I'm gonna toss it to Dave for some more Ayer inside info. Dave.
Thank you, Josh. That's so different. It's so different. It's just, you can see what it was going to be. And you can still see that in the final film. You still see what Ayer was going for. You still see just these bits and pieces of what it was going to be. And that's one of the reasons that I like Suicide Squad. I've been a defender ever since it came out. People knock it, and rightly so, because of what happened to it. It's got editing issues. It was tampered with. But there's good stuff in it. There's good moments in it. There's so much to enjoy about it that it's always been something that I really appreciated. I like it so much that I've got the special collector's Blu-ray with the fancy lenticular cover. Lenticular! I've got, Enchantress.
My spell is complete.
There's a lot to like about it. Despite all that happened to it, it still gave us Harley Quinn in live action for the first time. Unbelievably perfect representation by Margot Robbie. Absolutely perfect. And as much as I do love Birds of Prey, I really feel like in Suicide Squad, that was the definitive version of Harley. She had the right balance of being scary, smart, crazy, everything. Just, it was, that alone made me so happy when I saw this movie the first time. As a big Harley nerd, a fan of the character, since way back in the day in the original animated series, it just made me like just so happy to see that. And then on top of that, you got Will Smith as Deadshot doing a phenomenal job. I loved Enchantress. I really did. I know that her role changed and she really didn't get to do as much as she could have. So many things were so close, but this is what's important, is that even though the final product was flawed, you can see what David Ayer was going for. You can see what he was trying to do. And that's why I've always loved the movie. That's why I've always been a fan of it. Same thing with Jared Leto's version of Joker. What we got, it gets mocked a lot. People knock it a lot. But you can see something there. You can see something different. You can see what they were trying to go for. And if you look at that, there's more to appreciate about this movie. And with everything that David Ayer has been saying on Twitter recently, it's really, really just solidified my belief that this was an incredible film that has been altered into what we got, which was an okay film. But I would love to see the original version, his version. There's just the pot. It would be. So, going off of that, I'm going to go through some of David's tweets. So, in no particular order, and actually completely out of order, I'm going to go through some of the things that David Ayer has been tweeting. I love how much he's been talking about this. Back when the movie first came out, there were a lot of rumors and there was a lot of undercover reports from people on the set or someone who knew. And they're like, oh, well, this is what the movie was going to be. And it was supposed to be this. So there were always theories about what was supposed to happen or what the Joker's role really was going to be. But now that Ayer is tweeting about it, much of this has been confirmed, clarified, and it's awesome. I love all these inside details, and I love how he's keeping the hype up and how he's kind of just keeping people engaged, because it could happen. If people ask for it, if people want it, and if the Snyder Cut does well, we could get an Ayer Cut. We could. Okay, so he's talking about Flag and Enchantress someone asked about the relationship and saying it wasn't really fulfilled, and he says yes, they had more scenes, much more to their love. The two of them together, great. I love Cara Delevingne. She's great. And what they did with her in this, so cool. There's that one shot of the hand, if you've seen the movie you know what I'm talking about, where she transforms and her hand kind of flips. Really cool. And at the end, awesome. And there's also some concept art that kind of showed up recently where Ayer confirmed, he's like, yes, this is kind of where I wanted her look to go. This is interesting. There was supposed to be a parademon boss fight that got killed in prep, so it was a boss fight with Incubus. Tying it together with Batman vs. Superman and Justice League, it would have made so much sense. My number one nitpick about Suicide Squad is that they got this gang to fight this random, like, superpowered light in the sky. Like, it just felt very out of place for them to have this group of characters fighting such a supernatural being. But if it was parademons, if it was Steppenwolf, if it was a boom tube instead of a random blue light going into the sky, it would have made so much sense. It would have tied things together in a way, not like the Marvel movies, not like the movies where it's like, oh, I have to see everything and do my homework and then I can go see them. No, in a way where it works on its own, but it also ties into the bigger picture. It would have been great. It could be great if we get to the Ayer Cut. Okay, here we go. Someone is basically complaining about the Leto version of Joker. Ayer replies, I get it. His look worked better when he was scary. Softening him broke the illusion. This, I think, is key to this version of the Joker, because we hardly get him in the movie at all. But he is very comic accurate, as has been pointed out by a lot of people. A lot of detail went into the look of his costumes, the styling of him and the behavior, the way he acts. It's very Joker. And it's a different Joker. And I think this is something that people don't really realize is, okay, there's been so many representations of the Joker over the years, and they live on in your mind. And when you see a new Joker, you're going to be thinking about those other Jokers. And for the Leto version, we barely got to see him, so of course we're going to fill in the blanks with the other versions of the Joker that we think about. But this isn't them. He's not that version. He's something different. And we haven't even had a chance to see what that would have been. That's the thing, is that there's something there. There's a performance there of a frightening, scary, obsessive, abusive Joker. And when you introduce the Harley Joker dynamic, you open up some storytelling possibilities for abusive relationships, which is what they have. And the final cut romanticized it with the rescue at the end and just cutting out anything that was really, really unhealthy about their relationship. But it's a terrible relationship, and that's the point. And I don't know. There's something there, and I really want to see Leto's full performance, because I don't think they did him justice. I think that there's more, and I think that if you kept the dark tone and if you keep the vibe just intense, his Joker makes more sense and it will fit more. And also, people complained about the tattoos. People are like, oh, what's up with all the tattoos? And he's got tattoos on his face. You know who else has tattoos on their face? This guy. You know who's really popular? This guy. This is a new look. This is a new generation. This is a younger version of the Joker. This is something that is different and an evolution. It makes sense. Give it a chance. If you're one of those people that thinks that the Leto Joker is just completely just terrible, I really hope we get to see the Ayer cut and you can make another judgment on it, because I really think there's something there. Someone pointed out some of the Easter eggs that are in the film, and Ayer, this was kind of a bummer. He says, sadly, I got schooled on that. I put a zillion Easter eggs in the movie. Crickets. That comment made me want to go rewatch it again and look for them, because I noticed a bunch, mainly, like I mentioned, the Joker outfits that he wore, which were kind of like modern versions of classic looks, but there's probably a bunch of stuff. This is kind of interesting. This is something that came up a few times related to the Joker on Twitter, talking about the Ayer cut. Joker's got these teeth. He's got metal teeth. And it's like, what's up with that? Apparently, the story goes, Joker killed Robin. Batman breaks all of Joker's teeth. Joker gets metal teeth, metal grills. And then Joker meets a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist, of course, is Harley Quinn. That means that shot in the final film that says that Harley is responsible for Robin's death breaks the timeline. It's incorrect. And I like this a lot more. This is interesting. And this is what I mean about Leto Joker. This is what I mean about a deeper character. This is a cool detail. This is a cool part of the story that we just did not get. Jared was pretty mistreated during this. No one has seen his performance. It was ripped out of the movie. Ripped out of the movie. If that doesn't sum up the fact that we did not get to see this version of the Joker, I don't know what else does. We saw tidbits, but the performance was ripped out of the movie. Oof. Apparently, Deadshot and Harley hooked up, which kind of makes sense. And it fits. There's a couple moments that kind of hint towards that. At one point, and I think there's a reference to it. Yep. When the Joker is attacking the Suicide Squad and Deadshot stares at Harley, Harley responds with, "What, I got a hickey or something?" According to David Ayer himself, is confirmation that they hooked up. The thumbs up means they did, which is great. And he misses the shot on her later, which is just because, you know, he's got a soft spot for her. It's great. It's an evolution of Harley removing herself and escaping from the Joker, which is great. And it's in the comics. They hook up in the comics. So again, another reference. I like this a lot. This is a tweet that he wrote back in 2017. I got to work with amazing people. It won an Oscar, did incredible business, launched a franchise and a spin-off. And like it or not, it's halfway to cult status. I grew as a person, grew creatively. Warner took a chance on me, and I'm grateful. And that, again, this is one reason why I love David Ayer, why I think he's an awesome director. Because throughout all of this, even though he's been, you know, pitching for his version to be shown, he's been supportive of his studio, he's been understanding, he played the game, he played the Hollywood game, and he did what he had to do. He wasn't a jerk about it, he wasn't mean about it, he told the truth, but he also understands that sometimes these things happen, and sometimes you make a movie and it gets cut to shreds, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's heartbreaking, but it's also part of the business, and he has a very mature attitude about it. Same goes for Snyder. And that's why I think there's a real chance that we get to see the Ayer cut. Are any of the songs from Suicide Squad album in your cut? He says it's much more score-based. Look, I know everybody loved Guardians of the Galaxy, but that movie just ruined a bunch of other movies because they decided, oh, we just have to put a bunch of pop songs in inappropriately wherever. And it's like, no, you don't need to do that. That's not how it works. You can't just cram music in and then call it a day. Okay. Now, when I was going through David's Twitter, I actually found a tweet that I'm kind of shocked that he even put up. I didn't expect him to dive into a controversial subject like this. In this day and age, you got to be careful what you say online. So the fact that he put himself in the middle of this debate was really surprising to me, but I feel like I have to address it here. I do not support pineapple on pizza, says David Ayer. Look, I know I've been singing your praises and showing support for you this entire time, but this is where you're wrong, Mr. Ayer. Pineapple is delicious on pizza. Pineapple on pizza creates an incredible sweet versus salty, sweet versus savory flavor sensation that everyone should be able to appreciate. I know pizza originated in Italy, and I know that it's sacrilege if you're having traditional pizza, but things evolve, things change, and one of those things that has changed is pizza. Pizza can have a variety of things on it, including pineapple, cherries, all sorts of things. Hawaiian pizza is real pizza, and I will not have anyone slandering it. But I suppose we can agree to disagree. That's all for now. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. This was a fun video to make. I really want to see the Ayer Cut of Suicide Squad. I feel like it's going to happen. Anything could happen. If we're getting the Snyder Cut, then we can get the Ayer Cut. So I hope everyone out there shows support for this and continues to keep rallying for it. In the meantime, I am super hyped for The Tax Collector with my man, Shia LaBeouf, one of the most underrated actors who is thankfully starting to really get recognition. So can't wait for that. And when it comes out, hopefully we'll do a review here on the channel. Until then, thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next time on A Lot of Critics.